Hello and welcome to Aha Moments. This one is entitled I Get It Now and was originally sent out on September 11, 2023. So I'm going to read the Aha. We're going to go through it. But if you want, you can get it emailed to you. The emails come out every Monday morning at 8 a.m. And all you need to just do is subscribe at jrang.com and you'll get them. However, hop on this channel anytime and we'll talk about the Aha of the week and we'll expand on it a little bit. At any time, I love your feedback. The one thing about Ahas that I find really fascinating, I've been writing these for 8 or 9 years, and they'll all create a pivot to some degree, depending on your conditioning, your level of awareness, your whether you've experienced what it is that I'm talking about or not. You know, everybody will get a little bit different message and to a little different degree. But I love hearing the comments back about the effect of them. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, it's like you're following me, right? And the Aha was just so important and so pivotal at the time. And other times you might get them and you go, yeah, that makes sense. And it's not until a little bit later that you had a chance to think about it and something happens that occurrence or that experience will deepen that Aha for you and make it a little more pivotal. At any time, I believe that we learn one Aha at a time, that our growth is always little Ahas, big Ahas, but something that shifts our perspective and makes us look at it, a different way. Sometimes, as I said, they're just teeny ones that you kind of go, oh, I get it now. And other times they're ones where, one door opens and one door closes, another one opens, and you spend virtually no time in the hallway. You go from here to there, right? They're so impactful. Anyway, let's go through this one. I tried earlier to call it up electronically, and somebody said Mercury retrograde, and hey, that just affects electronics. So here, paper copy. I'm going to read from the paper copy here. Then I know it's accurate, and then we'll have a little discussion, and I look forward to your comments. Okay, ready? Here goes. I see it now. What subliminal repetitions are you subject to? That's an unfair question, because if the message is subliminal, your conscious mind isn't seeing it, right? Which means you're not aware of it. So let's do a quick environment audit, shall we? Look around your desk or workstation or kitchen counter, wherever you're reading this blog. What is in your immediate environment that is there routinely? Maybe it's a picture, a clock, a pen, a candle, an award, a notebook, a calendar, a screensaver, a magnet, or a vase. Is there a graphic panel or something written on it? How many times a day do you look at it? And how many times a day do you see it? Okay, those are two different questions. Is that clock or calendar, fridge magnet, or screensaver always in view? It's likely subliminal. Rarely might you read the words, consciously acknowledge the brand, or pause to deliberately take in the message, but your conscious mind will see it thousands of times per second and record the message each time. Now, likely you put all those things there deliberately because they make you smile. But what about the things you didn't? I remember in my grandma's kitchen, she had a plaque on the wall that said, a man works from sun to sun, but a woman's work is never done. What effect do you think that had on my programming? I didn't realize that the sitcoms that I watched years ago were all centered around coffee shops. For fun, I watched a few minutes of reruns to count the coffee references. I found there were hundreds in just a few minutes in any episode. It's no wonder coffee became an earlier way of life in both business and social circumstances, but I don't recall choosing it to be that way. Aha! Choose an environment that propels you to being your best self. Your mind is anything but complacent. It records millions of messages daily as it continually scans your environment, notes potential dangers, and works to keep you safe and comfy. Safe and comfy usually means to blend in and seek routine because that's where the perceived safety is. But does safety serve your highest good? Once someone points out a subliminal message, you become aware, you see it, and you can never not see it again. We need to get good at becoming the observer of ourselves and to challenge ourselves to look for repetitive content in our environment, physical environment, movies, TV, music, self-talk, messaging in all aspects, and learn to surround ourselves with what helps us grow. In my office wall, you'll see art that says, my health is my wealth. I have love in my heart and money in my pocket. and source. Thank you for guiding people to me that I can be of service to for their highest and greatest good. I am so grateful. What do you see? So I'll show you here. Look at this. My health is my wealth. That is one of the wall arts. So in your environment, just look around while you're just sitting there, while you're listening to this, look around your environment and see what's there. And as I said, there's probably some things that you put there deliberately because they put a smile on your face. They bring you joy. Somebody gave, it could be a picture, a fridge magnet, whatever. But the other things in your environment. So I'm talking about branding. I'm talking about when we say movies, television, music, anything like that. When you're walking outside, whatever it is that you see, your brain is taking in thousands of impressions per second. It's mapping everything because it's always looking to keep you safe. So safe and comfy, that's why we like routine. So we look for safe and comfy, and it's always on alert, right? So if there's no alert, your brain's not firing too much, but to a certain degree, it is always taking in this content. And repetitive content, it's looking for repetitive content because it's looking for familiarity. It wants to make sure there's safety. So with that repetitive content, that's where we need to become aware. When I mentioned about being the observer, this was something I discovered in myself about 15 years ago, and it had to do with depression. So being in the doctor's office and them wanting to give me medication, everything was kind of like, no, that's not it. It's not it. And I really didn't feel like the medical community understood about depression and all of the kind of nuances that went with it. So it was always about being medication, always kind of trying things. So it's like, and instinctually, it's kind of like, no, I know this is an experience. I know I'm going through something. And I became an observer. I became an observer of myself. And I started looking at all aspects of my life and seeing what was going on that was contributing. And not, I'm oversimplifying things, but I'm making a point in terms of what that position of being the observer meant. And the reason that I make that point is I recently listened to an interview that David Icke did with Jason Christoff. It's excellent. Just came out that last week. And David Icke used that very specific term, becoming an observer. And the way he described it, and I'm going to paraphrase, and I'm going to put in some of my own terminology here, but essentially, when you remove yourself from the egoic mind, so part of your conscious mind, and your repetitive programmed mind, we're designed to be programmed. So understand, that's just who we are. We're designed to be programmed, so we are programmed. Remember, the mind's always looking for that repetitive content to kind of decide who we are. But when we remove ourselves from that egoic mind, from that sort of repetitive, mind, and we become the observer, we step back and we say, what is it that I'm seeing? What is it that I'm thinking? And we start to question our environment. We question our actions. We question our behaviors. We question who we're spending time with, what's in front of us. And we start, what is it that I'm doing? Like let's say I want to be healthier, but am I creating the behaviors? And if I'm not, why not? And many times our intelligent mind can say to ourselves, our intelligent mind sees that we're not doing the behavior, but we don't understand that it's the programming that is stopping us. It's not who we are. We want to expand. We want to be healthier. We want to be happier. We want to have more money. We want all that stuff. That's natural in us. But the programming is what is keeping us down, or can keep us down. So the programming can be shifted, but the key is to become aware of your environment, aware of the people that you're spending time with, aware of if you're going to movies and everything. Jason Christoff does some great movie analyses, I guess I'll call it, where he does it like a review of the movie, and he points out the symbolism and the programming that contributes to sort of social programming to keep us down. And it's everywhere. It's just everywhere. And so becoming aware of that is what's really key, right? And that's when we can change it. We can say, the actions are happening, but it's because I'm allowing myself to take in this programming. So I'm not sure where you are with TV or anything like that. I watch very, very little TV, and I have made that a practice for quite a long time now. There's a lot of things that I have cut out. I'm not perfect by any long shot. And there are things in my life that are not operating as well as I'd like them to, but you know what, we're all evolving. And when I look back and I look at the progress that I've made, in some things that were just so heavily programmed, I realized how much effort it was to get myself out of it. And there were times when I did really well in things and I had to look back and go, okay, what was I thinking? Who was I with? What was I allowing to come into my environment at that time when things were going so well, when I felt like I was top of my game, whether it was financially or within my network or physically? What was I doing at that time? What was I allowing? So that is where, you know, we go through this ebb and flow, and our circumstances and are always changing, whether we're changing them or sometimes they're changing us, right? So, you know, we have to learn to adapt, but we're always making choices. Most of the time, and I mean most of the time, like almost 99% of the time, the choices are being made based on our programming. That's where becoming the observer comes in, that you have to step back and go, okay, I continue to do this. What is it that I'm allowing to come into my space on a repetitive basis that is not working for me or is working for me? So, right? Makes sense? How's that? Okay. So my health is my wealth. You see that? I love it. So I have a bunch of these. Now you can get some wall art. You can make your own if you want, but you can get free wall art. We have a nice collection with the book, 50 Simple Ways to Release the Shackles of Self-Sabotage. At this point, it is it's almost ready. So we're in pre-sale mode, and anybody who jumps on board will they get a whole bunch of stuff. They get the QR code for wall art. They'll get another one of my PDF to another one of my book. You'll get a t-shirt that says A Human Approach on it. We got some really cool things, a talk from Jason Christoph. There's some really neat gifts in there just for anybody who jumps in right now before the book is actually ready on Amazon. So we want to just kind of ramp up and get people ready to release those shackles of self-sabotage. So if you jump on that, it's ahumanaapproach.com/50-simple-ways. That's the link. We'll put the link in here for you anyway, or email me for it, j@jassociates.com, and we'll get you in there. Okay. Anyway, I hope you're having a fabulous day, and I look forward to your comments back on this AHA. And also look forward to seeing you subscribing so we can talk more. As always, succeed deliberately,